Yo, what's up? It's your boy, Papa P, and as always, the P stands for... That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The P stands for paint. One of the questions I often get asked is, what inspires you? And as an artist, that is a very, very broad question. The most common answer that artists give is usually something like nature, or my inner self, or my experiences. Which all those things have merit by themselves, but it's not always the only thing that inspires. Today I'm going to talk about artists that inspire me. Now, some of these artists you guys will probably know, some of these artists you guys will have no idea who they are, but that's the joy of it. I'm going to share with you guys exactly who inspires me, how I develop my style through inspiration, and you guys will also get exposed to some local South African artists. So overall, I think it's going to be quite a cool video. Completely different, but I think until I do my next painting at the beach or painting wherever we go video, I think this is a nice little video to fill that void and to satisfy you guys, because I'm planning on posting a lot more. So if you guys like this video, please let me know, and I'm gonna make a bunch more of these kind of videos. George Condo is an American visual artist who specializes in drawing, sculpting, and even painting. Now, my first interaction with some of George's work was his work on the My Dark Twisted Fantasy album covers for Kanye West. The thing that drew me towards George's work was he had this distinct style, he had a character, and in all of his work across the albums you could see this character get pulled through all the album covers. This was something that I really struggled with for a very long time. I was creating a lot of work aimlessly, and I really struggled to get that visual language to connect with my work. And by looking at George's work, I could see he had, instead of having a style, he had a character. And this character he pulled through all of his work. I find his work very impressive. His mastery of abstraction and cubism is something that I have long tried to achieve, and with varying results. George Condo describes his work as psychological cubism, and I think there's no better way to describe it. I mean, just look at some of these images. Overall, George is in my top 10 of favorite artists of all time. He inspires me every time I see some of his work, and I would love to one day have a show with George, or even own one of George Condo's paintings. And then I was hit with load shedding, so I had to take a 2-hour break, but I'm back and let's continue the video. Jean-Michel Basquiat was an American painter who grew up in the 80s. He popularized the movement of neo-expressionism and changed the way we look at art forever. One of the things that I love about Jean-Michel Basquiat's work is just the coordinated chaos. If you can't tell, a lot of my work is very planned out, very sophisticated, very line work centric. And I envy artists like Jean-Michel who are able to create something beautiful, something cohesive, with just erratic, it seems like erratic line work and bold choices in colors, but somehow Jean-Michel made that work. Many of the artists I know today still make use of Jean-Michel's style, as I think his style has been the most adapted style of all time. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but when I go through galleries here in South Africa, I tend to see a lot of work that looks like his work. So that is just a massive compliment to him, but I do feel that a lot of people do steal directly from him without further interpretation and further evolving the work. Jean-Michel's work has an almost angelic chaos to it. As I said earlier in the video, he does have an organized chaos feeling to his work. But as a person who has been practicing art for a very long time, I must say his style is one of the most difficult styles to really pull off. I've tried many times, and at the end of the day it just ends up looking muddy or messy, or just not as cohesive. If this is the first time that you've ever heard of Jean-Michel Basquiat, I urge you to go do some research about him. Go check out his life. There's many biopics and documentaries, YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff you can check out about Jean-Michel. He had a quite decorated life, albeit quite short, but he will forever be remembered in art history, as he did change the way we looked at art at the time. Therefore, Jean-Michel is also on my list for my favorite artist. I mean, just look at a few of these pieces. The next artist I'm going to be speaking about is definitely somebody that the majority of you guys have not heard of, but he is world famous. The next artist is one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites, Roger Ballen. Now, Roger Ballen is not just a visual artist when it comes to painting and sculpting. He is also world-renowned for his photography, as Roger often goes into the deepest and darkest parts of South Africa to live amongst the people who are rejected by society. I remember seeing Roger's work for the first time in a music video from the Antwoord, and I didn't know what to feel. It was such a childlike expression, but daunting and haunting at the same time. The second time I ever saw Roger's work was at an exhibition at Zuid-Mokka, and it was, I can honestly tell you, it was surreal. It was such an incredible experience. I remember walking in and the place smelled. It had a hectic stench, and you were greeted with hard breathing noises. And the first thing you saw when entering the door was almost like a mannequin puppet-esque creation that he made of this lady ironing. Everything was dark and had quite a heavy stench to it. And when you turn the corner, you hear a bunch of whispering. I remember going back after I saw that exhibition thinking that was one of the most crazy experiences I've ever seen. The way I find Roger inspiring is not as much from his work, although his work is beautiful. It's just not in the realm of the work I'm doing at the moment. It's in the way that he provokes people. It's in the way that he makes you think. It's in the way that he activates your senses. His artwork is not just a visual experience, especially the one I went to. It engaged in all the senses, in hearing, smell. I just didn't taste anything. Thank God I didn't taste anything. But look at some of these daunting pictures and let me know what you guys think about it. Roger's work is definitely thought-provoking, so if you guys are interested in checking out Roger Ballen's work, go check out his website, rogerballen.com, where you can see some of his photographs. Go check out his YouTube videos. I guarantee you guys will lose some sleep over it, but you will definitely not be bored. You will definitely be disturbed. I'll put some links in the bio because some of his documentaries on YouTube are some of the most interesting things I've ever seen and I ever will see. So yeah, Roger Ballen definitely deserves to be on this list as one of the artists that has affected the way I think about provoking the audience the most. I do apologize, I could not show you guys all the photos that I wanted to show you of Roger Ballen's, as I'm sure it would get copyright striked or it would get age restricted. So if you guys are interested, go check out and let me know what you guys think of his work. The next two artists are only in the top two positions because not only do they inspire me, but they were the original two artists that got me into art. Without any further ado, the next artist is the Chad, the Alpha Male, the Cabbage King, Salvador Dali. Now, to express to you guys how big of a Dali fan I really am, let me show you something. This cup. This was a Christmas present I received one year, just to show you how much of a Dali fan I really am. Now, Salvador Dali inspires me a lot, and not in the ways that you would think. Salvador Dali's work is incredible. It's beautiful, it's technical, it's something that I do not dream of achieving, and it's nothing like the work that I do. But the reason why he inspires me is because he was one of the first artists who knew how to market himself. Let me explain. Salvador Dali's work could easily speak for itself. It could easily hold a candle to any of the masters. But the thing that distinguished Salvador Dali from the rest was his madman moniker. He was batshit crazy. The things he said on TV, the way he dressed, the way he showed up to events, it just distinguished him as a crazy man. And the crazy artist thing was kind of born with him as well, because the value of his work just increased because of his madman moniker. People thought this man is crazy, and look at the kind of work he's making. They couldn't decipher exactly what he was trying to say, because surrealism before that point was not as surreal as the way that Salvador Dali painted it to be. Growing up, I was always that weird kid. I was always the batshit crazy kid. I was the kid who was always either drawing at the back of the class or talking the whole period. I was the guy who was swinging off of trees when people dared me. I was almost like a jackass character. And when I finally got into art, I was looking for someone close to me, someone I could mirror, someone who I could relate to. And I think the first person that I could relate to was Salvador Dali, as crazy as that sounds. And that's why he inspires me, because he was, as crazy as he was, he taught me that you need to market yourself, and that's more relevant today than it was when he was alive. So your art can be incredible by itself, and most artists love to live by the saying that I'll let my artwork do the talking. Nowadays, if you're an artist, you're not just an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a marketing person. And I think Salvador Dali taught me that aspect of the game. The way you carry yourself changes the way that your artwork gets perceived. But enough of that. Let's look at some of Dali's most beautiful works. Incredible. His work is so delicate, so technical, and I don't think there will be another Salvador Dali anytime soon. And finally, the last person on the list, and it's no one else but my uncle, Schalk van der Merwe. Now before we go on, I must say that the rest of this video will be a lot more personal and not so fact-driven, because this is my uncle, this is family. The reason why my uncle Schalk is number one on the list is because he's the original sin. He is the person who inspired me to pursue art. He is the person who showed me it is possible, it is viable to pursue a career in art. I find Schalk van der Merwe inspiring for many reasons. His artwork is beautiful, it's sensitive, it's rough, it's aggressive at times, it's dark. Oftentimes there's something so subtle and so soft about it, peeking through the cloud of darkness. But the art style is not the reason why I'm inspired. It's because of one of the things he told me when I was much younger. He told me, and this is great advice, he said to me, surrender to the process and create without expectation. Now that I'm much older and I've taught some people to paint and draw as well, that is the number one advice I give to them as well. People will come to you and tell you, I can't paint, I can't draw. And I tell them, you can. Surrender to the process. I put down the canvas and I say, create without expectation. Those two quotes are something that I've carried with me since the day that he told them to me. Now, these days my art style is not so expressive as it used to be. But when I started my art career, my art looked a lot like my uncle's, because I was also surrendering to the process and not thinking about anything. And that's why people love Schalk van der Merwe's work. It's real, it's authentic, it's not planned. When you stand in front of a Schalk van der Merwe, you know that this is real pain, this is real sadness, this is real joy reflected onto a canvas. There aren't much real things left in this world. Most of the stuff that we look at these days are processed so much, but when you look at Schalk's work, you can feel something. You feel the raw emotion of the artist. And that's also a reason why he inspires me. And for all those reasons, that is why Schalk van der Merwe is my number one inspiration when it comes to art. And just like that, the video has finally come to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's something different. I say it's something different every video, but this was something I haven't done before. If you do like this kind of video, like and subscribe, let me know. Tell me in the comment section what you guys think of the video. And yeah, I'll make some more of these ones. I really enjoyed making it. And for this one is for Francois. Poop-diddy scoop-dee poop-dee scoop. Because he said last video I didn't end the video like that. So that one is for you. And yeah, fuck. That was a long video. Thank you guys for sticking through it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Smash that motherfucking like button. Phew, finally klaar. My maat. Brand new video. Waar sit ek my fucking hande?